Hi, I'm Tim, and my wife is Christy behind the camera. We are from AMI Beekeeper Academy, and I'm going to do a video on hive stand placement and the construction of it. First thing you want to do is you want to go and find a spot in your yard that faces south by southeast. If you can, try to have some type of wind block or something behind it on the north side. Once you find that location, you want to use 2 center blocks. Now I only have one because, just for demonstration purposes. And for ground cover, I recommend using something like this. It's a heavy gauge plastic. It's 4 mil. You can get it from the hardware store. It's fairly cheap. I think I got a whole roll of it for like 10 bucks. And what you need to do is you need to go ahead and find your placement and determine, based on how long you want your hive stand. Mine happens to be 6 feet, but you can get 2x6s in 8-foot lengths, so that may be better. I just used what I had. And so what you want to do is you want to take your tape measure and you want to put it out on the ground in the direction, in the area that you want your hive stand to be, and you want to place your blocks roughly in that area, so you know the general area. Once you have your blocks, you want to take at least a 4-foot level to be able to level your blocks. So you would go from one block to the other. I wish I had another block, but I don't. And you want to be sure that it's level the entire 8-foot length and level front to back. It has to be level both directions. And you may have to dig out like I did. I had to dig out one side of mine about 3 inches. But then you want to take, once you have your placements in roughly the right area, you want to go ahead and use your 8-foot length board, sorry for the airplane noise, and lay them across from one brick to the other. And it has to be flat all the way across the top of each brick. That way the hive stand will be sitting on all 3 brick tops. And once you have that done, you want to take a heavy gauge plastic or some type of black ground cover, sometimes fabric, sometimes plastic like I used. And like I said, it's a heavy 4 mil gauge. It's pretty thick. Then you want to take your plastic, because I did an 8-foot by 10-foot section. Again, this is just for demonstration purposes. Once you lay your ground cover over all of your bricks, like so, you then want to take a razor knife and go from corner to corner, cutting out an X. So then you can stretch it over your block, like so. Either way, once you do that, then you'll take ground staples, like this, and go about every 2 or 3 feet around the edge of your ground cover. You just stick it in and push it down. Once you have everything leveled across the brick tops, you're going to want to make sure that they lay on top like this. You don't have to build it like this, but I took my tape measure and I simply measured the block like this. And that gave me about 15.5 inches. And so I basically then took my end boards, which is another piece of 2x6, and made them 15 inches. And I left the cleats from an old bed frame on mine. And the reason I did that is because my area down here gets some water. And because water can still get down in here, I needed to think of a way to sort of create this chimney effect. So the air comes through and helps push out this water. But as you see, this is plenty sturdy. So once you have this established, then it'll just sit right on top of your bricks all the way across. And I simply used, you know, a cordless drill and some square head screws. And that's something else you want to talk about too real quick, is the screws. So let's talk about the screws for a moment. I used what I had is square head number 20 screws. Now they need to be at least an inch longer than the thickness of your deck board. I'm using 3-inch screws because that's what I had. So in placing the decking down and spacing it, you would take your board that's cut. Each of these decking boards has to be cut to 2 feet in length. They also have to be flushed up to the very back, because that's where you work from, is in the back. And to create the spacing, I simply take 2 screws and I put one here and one here. And once you have it flushed up at the back, you can take your driver and drive the nails in, screws in. Like so. Then you take your screws, well, then you take your screws out, and go to the next one. And again, you simply put your screw here and here, flush it up with the back, and drive all your screws in. And you just keep going like that until you're finished. And then it'll be decked out.